Approximately, I think it was last week, I gave Larry some material or research to share with you guys in regards to Jasmy. And he basically, towards the end of it, and I don't blame him for this. I mean, I'd probably say the same thing too. Somebody presented this to me. And that is, I want to see something more solid where it specifically mentions that this is connected to Jasmy. This is a follow up to that particular news. We do have confirmation for you. So if you've been following this is big. It says, when you wake up, Jasmy says, Jasmy Coin News collaborations with Sony, Vaio, and Toyota. I'm going to blow it up. So here's some of the key highlights. Jasmy and Sony Vaio jointly developed a high security computers that will be used in banks and other financial institutions. This is big. Jasmy partnered with the automobile company Toyota and the travel service provider WITS to build a platform to record the tourist data for the Hokkaido region of Japan. This is huge. Absolutely huge, because we heard before what makes Jasmy stand out is basically data scraping and so on, right? Some people, of course, agree with it. Some people don't. Let's face it. You use the likes of Google Chrome, it's scraping the living crap out of your data. You use your Android phone and you have anything turned on with that when it comes to Google Chrome at all. It's listening to everything, right? This has been well established. It's not just Jasmy, right? You know, Edward Snowden talked about this years ago, okay? So again, read some of the disclaimers about what you're installing. That's why they're there, okay? But I'm not stating this is a bad thing. I think this is a good thing, especially if you own Jasmy. All right. So dating back to December 2021, Jasmy announced a collaboration with Ethereum-based metaverse-focused protocol Meta Visa to build a bridge to promote interoperability between blockchain ecosystems and NFTs. On top of that, Jasmy announced plans in January of 2022. Let's face it, that was only a year and a month ago, to promote its business outside of Japan and establish an international presence in North America and Asia. According to Jasmy, it will establish a base in the United States and Asia to collaborate with companies in the blockchain and AI technology sectors and to promote just that, the Jasmy coin. On top of that, Jasmy announced a partnership with the Hong Kong-based PC developer NEX STGO in March 2022. The two organizations will collaborate on the development and production of models equipped with the Jasmy secure PC concept. Jasmy partnered with Mystico Network, a multi-chain privacy software development kit, in April 2022 to enable authentication of users and devices without having to share private data to communication network intermediaries. Now, the key thing is this, is data. If you have followed the likes of Google, Tesla, and so on, they definitely stand out with what? Data. Right? Data in itself is a massive, massive multi-billion dollar thriving business. If Jasmy can continue to innovate based on some of these particular things with data, I think they will definitely help them stand out. Because if anything, this shows the most important level of utility that they have. I've heard people in the past state Jasmy has no utility. That is a bunch of malarkey. We know that to not be true. And me personally, I mean, you know, we saw a bottom for Jasmy at, you know, basically 0.002928. I came at zero, it came into at 0.006 roughly, right? Some of you guys might not even be into this yet, but nonetheless, we did see bottom. Combine what you see here with what's going on with the unbanning of the stable coins, particularly Tether and Circle. I think it's going to be something else for Jasmy. And the reason why I state that is because, especially with what's going to happen by June, they're supposed to lift those bans by June. Will that be enough combined with a potential bull market or utility run to get insane price action for Jasmy? Could very well be the case, but it's going to allow a lot more volume to come in for Jasmy, because now you're going to have actual people from Japan be able to have more access to this. Whenever you have more countries being able to access the technical, Bitcoin of Japan, that's a good thing. So I'm very bullish on Jasmy. And if anything, I recognize that risk to reward ratio as being very, very appealing. This is one of the ones I'm talking about quite often to be towards the top of my list for risk to reward ratios. I'm not saying that this is the best of the best, not stating that. But as far as a risk to reward ratio, you definitely have to consider the likes of Jasmy, not financial advice. Jasmy has some big partners, as we know. We showed you guys that, right? Toyota and so on. The local government is to record tourist data. And it's just kind of reiterating it. So I just want to show you guys, this is coming from multiple sources. It's a thing that's trending. You may feel like this is a little bit more of like what I just reiterated, but there's nothing wrong with this. So it says, don't forget, from an old AMA fan, GIA says Jasmy reached agreement with a catering company with 50 chain stores across America, across Japan. I wish it was across America. Jasmy is big. Let's blow this up. So Jasmy, of course, collaborated with Japanese automakers and mobile travel services companies to create a platform for the Hokkaido local government to record tourist data. We talked about that before. And it is used to promote the realization of Japan's first extensive area of unmanned driving and supporting facilities in the regional commercial pilots. Now, I want to state this. You may feel as though I'm just reiterating the other news. To a sense, here's the key thing here. Understanding this specifically, and that is to promote in the realization of Japan's first extensive area of unmanned driving. What's the connection there that we already know about? Tesla. This is why I use these particular examples. Autonomous vehicles are, something else, to say the least, right? So data, right? Tourist data. So if you're going to have in the future, you already see kind of like an outline. Just hear me out on this. Try your own conclusion. Connect the dots. At least I am. So Jasmy has these particular partnerships, and they have, for instance, the recording of tourist data, and they have these particular connections with the likes of Toyota and so on and so forth. You come to the conclusion that, sorry, Elon Musk. I mean, I am a fan of Elon Musk. I like him and so on. But if we're going into a green environment, a green future by 2030 and so on, where I hate to say it, I'm not trying to be controversial, but even HBAR has mentioned the likes of carbon credits. It's becoming a thing, whether people want to believe it or not. I can also draw and connect the dots that if that's the case, the Japanese government doesn't want to be left behind any more than the United States government does, we are. They don't want to be left behind when it comes to these specific technologies and so on. So the key thing is data. And if Tesla, they have this whole thing with data, it really stands out, right? Big time. Jasmy is able to implement this particular technologies through these different car companies and so on, right? Toyota, maybe some other ones, right? Like there's more than Toyota, obviously, in Japan. This is huge because this means that you have, like what we always talked about in crypto, your utility being utilized, right? And that's just, again, one form of it. There's obviously more layers to what Jasmy provides. I want to talk a little bit more about this, but I think that's big. It says the platform can help the government collect and store relevant data of unmanned vehicle users and avoid personal information compliance issues in Japan. So for one, you can have a partnership with these particular automobile industries and so on, which is big, right? But at the same time, your government is recognizing what you have at the same time. The reason why I also want to mention and make this particular example is this. What do we know here in the United States that we have that is kind of similar to a sense? Just hear me out. XLM is the only officially recognized cryptocurrency by the Fed. All right. If you have an instance where in Japan, Jasmy ends up being the only, or at least the cream of the crop, to help the Japanese government to be in compliance with, relevant data of unmanned vehicles and personal information to be in compliance, that is big because they have their government tied into this. And I'm not saying I'm a big fan of big government, but if it's going to be a positive catalyst for price action, then why wouldn't I be on board? So at the same time, the platform records some of the things that were mentioned here, but yeah, this is absolutely big. This guy says Jasmine is big. This is big. All right. And there's a lot of people who are on board for this, and it's cool to see this. I had to go through quite a bit of crypto Twitter to find some of this particular information. Was glad to get it to you guys.
Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you have not yet subscribed, do yourself a favor and subscribe for more information on the ISO 222 compliant tokens, and hit the notification bell to make sure that you are aware of the new videos when they come up. Max and I cover these ISOs, and we also have a live show every single night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you tune in for that. You won't want to miss it. Thanks again, and we will see you on the next video.